watching.
Hello, you are watching ScreenStalker. I'm Laurie Blake, this is Pete Quinnell, and this is Luke Owen.
Hey guys, I just thought I'd come in here and see what you're up to. I keep hearing a lot of this destroy, WrestleTalk, ScreenStalker we're watching, so Ollie told me to keep an eye on things, and here is my eyes on you guys.
Well, so you see, the whole destroy WrestleTalk thing, I think you're mishearing it because it's actually pronounced destroy, and it's Spanish for improve.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah,
I studied Spanish at A-level, and he's right. You
Oh,
know,
man, well, that totally makes sense.
There you are.
In which case, then, thanks for inviting us, and thanks for trying to improve WrestleTalk.
You are welcome.
You guys are so good.
Selfless job,
So
really.
trustworthy.
But now we're improving ScreenStalker because we're talking about Avengers Endgame and the new trailer that dropped, like an hour ago?
Yeah, pretty much. This was like a surprise drop as well. Like usually, like Marvel Studios announce ahead of time. By the way, check out Good Morning America tomorrow because the new trailer for Avengers is going to be on. Whereas this was just like, no, here it is. And everyone was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a new trailer. Oh, quickly watch it. Panic. Quick, load up the biggest screen we have. And it is. I mean, like, let's get out of the gate. It's a awesome trailer, right?
Phenomenal.
Oh,
It's
man.
super cool.
It is. It's like, so we watched it 3 times.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I was holding back tears on all 3 times. And it's when Scarlett Johansson is saying like, we've got to do this for all the people not in the room. I was like, oh, that includes Spider-Man. Oh,
It's bigger coming from her because she was such evil training when she was
younger. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. So
It's awful.
I really had to like
great.
hold back tears and be like, no, look cool.
I love it because
Yeah.
it's such a stylish trailer as well. Like to do the whole like there's a lot of stuff in flashback. There's a lot of like desaturation, pulling out the reds of things to make it poignant. And then, but then
It's like Schindler's List.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it's that kind of like we're getting all this flashback, we're getting all this story because obviously there's so much of this film we are not allowed to see. Like I'm
Yeah.
surprised we've got to see Hawkeye being Ronin.
Oh, yeah.
That's that kind of level of reveal seems like something that they would have wanted to do in the film. But I feel like the sort of backlash from Infinity War of like, where the hell is Hawkeye? Meant they had to be like, he's here, guys.
Yeah, it's good
he's
because
okay.
he got that one shot in the first end trailer game, end trailer game, in the end game trailer where I was like, oh cool, there's Mo Hawkeye, and but we got so much more Mo Hawkeye this time round. Pete, what did you reckon?
Literally everything
Pete
you
is
guys already said.
flabbergasted.
I'm literally,
yeah.
I'm stumbling on my words because I just can't express like it was so good.
Yeah.
And I think what I like the most is you do get those flashbacks to the previous film. So they had the opening shot was from Iron Man, then they had the opening shots from Captain America: First Avenger, and it did show it. It kind of meant like, yeah, this has been going on for like 10 years now. Oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's that nostalgia trip of being like, that was a really good film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you see that and be like, they've grown a lot. A lot of things have happened. Oh my god, it's all coming to an end. Ah! And then you just go through the loop again of emotions. It's, so good.
But it puts these films in a very unique position because these are the only existing films, I think, that have such a follow through on a story that is playing out as we're kind of watching them. Like it's that no other series goes like well, now there's a new character. Fast and Furious is on number 10 or something somehow,
Eight,
or whatever,
yeah,
whatever
eight.
it is.
Yeah.
Like, and that's vaguely linked together by Cars and The Rock now. But this this has a very like solid narrative through line that they've been working on for years and years. And I don't think we probably will never get to another series where this is the case, where there's a film coming out. Infinity War felt like the culmination of something, and it was a swerve. And then you now we're going into this other thing, going, what will happen now?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we go back from here? Like, how do we pay off on all of this history when the moment that we felt was going to be the huge payoff, the big final moment, was literally by world, or
at least 50% of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
50% of it, yeah.
And it's like Kevin Feige is an absolute genius, the guy who's kind of like running Marvel Studios, because he essentially he looked at the way comic books work and we're like, well, let's just do this, but on a film.
Yeah.
It's just like comic books tell sort of like this narrative arc, and you get your big events comics. So he's like, well, why don't we just do like solo run comic series, but they all culminate together in these big events comics that we'll do, and those will be our big Avengers movies. It just works really, really well. And like you say, like I look back to 2008 and going to see Iron Man at the cinema with you have like expectations because there's all of these sort of like rumors and reports if they want to do bigger, bigger picture stuff. But you're there going like, hey, it's the next comic book movie. I'm going to go see it because I go see every comic book movie that's out. And then the end of it...
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Glutton for punishment. Hey, man, I watched Daredevil, I watched Hulk, I watched Ghost Rider, both of them. Yeah. And then when Nick Fury shows up...
Told by your priest to do your Hail Marys. Go and see Daredevil.
Again? No!
Do the catechisms.
And then Nick Fury shows up at the end of it, and he's talking about like the Avengers Initiative. And I remember like sitting up in my seat being like, wait, what?
Excuse me.
What? Are we really going to do this? And then when you go see Incredible Hulk a couple of months later, and Robert Downey Jr. shows up in that as Tony Stark, and you're like, oh, this is real. Like, this is happening. Yeah. It's crazy to think 11 years on, and we're now in this position where we're watching a film. Well, we're watching a trailer for a film that is the culmination of this like 11-year-long story. It's crazy, man. But there's so much awesomeness in this trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without giving away anything.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think that's the thing I love the most is, for me especially, I'm not a huge fan of movie trailers as a whole because I always feel like they just reveal way too much about everything before you've even seen it. The prime example for me was Batman v Superman trailer. I watched that and I was like, I now don't want to watch the film because I've seen too much. Like, there's no point now. Whereas this, it gives you just enough to get you excited for the film without showing you anything from the film.
Right,
it's great.
yeah.
There's not even the payoff on a punch in this. You know, like no one fires a shot, no one flies. No, it's that sort of like there's a lot of Hawkeye going, I'm ready. I'm going to fire this arrow.
And you got Black Widow like shooting at targets, but she's not shooting at anything.
It's a trailer that entirely not only prepares you, but is preparing them. Like we're watching the training for whatever mission they're embarking on, and the final shot of the trailer is them about to embark on that mission.
Which we're all thinking it's the quantum realm, right? Like they're all wearing like the Ant-Man, like the suits we saw in Ant-Man, and like the concept art of Michael Douglas in the suits as well. Like so, there's definitely some quantum realm.
Yeah, I'm thinking some sort of time hopping quantum solution here is probably, I don't know. Unless they're going to go in the quantum realm, gather up all the dust in like little Dysons, and then try and build everyone after, like with that.
We'll just build a new society in the quantum realm.
He can't get us there.
Yeah, all of this hype, and it's just them just surrendering. But yeah, all right, yeah, you win. We're just going to go over here.
Do you know what?
That's fine. You have that.
We had a terrible time up here. We're going to go down there. It's safe there.
I'm hoping that there is a 20-minute stretch of this film where it's just Thanos on his intergalactic ranch.
Oh, having a little fish.
Like retired like Ronda Rousey.
So what you want Animal Crossing, but with Thanos?
Yes, that's perfect.
You're going to see Tom Nook, see what he's up to.
Your prices are entirely unreasonable, Tom Nook.
There was someone who said on Twitter, which I completely agree with, is that the PR team and the marketing team behind these Marvel Studio movies deserve like awards. Like they should be doing awards for like trailers and stuff, because this trailer shows so much without giving away anything. And the last trailer did the same thing. Really, a lot of this is working on footage we've already seen, and yet so much of it still feels brand new. As you say, like there's just a couple of shots, like there's Ant-Man looking at posters, there's Mo Hawkeye with his daughter, there's the shot of them going into the quantum realm, and you've got the stuff with Captain Marvel in like sort of like the post-Sting. But a lot of it still feels like I don't really still know where we're going here. And to your point about like trailers giving away too much, you look at the last trailer they did for Spider-Man Homecoming, which is a Sony movie who are very bad for this thing, where they showed you essentially the whole film. Like it takes you all the way up to dialogue, including of him having a conversation with Tony Stark, where he's like, if you can't do it without the suit, then you don't deserve it at all. That's like 2 hours into the film. And then it shows you the final fight he has with the Vulture, and I'm like, why am I going to go and see this film now? I've basically seen it already in the trailer.
Well, it's stupid to do that in properties as well, in which people are just hyped to see that character. Like, we already know we want to see a Spider-Man film because we like Spider-Man. You don't need to be like, oh, please sell us on the idea of Spider-Man. He's not stood the test of time.
I'm wearing
Luke's literally got him on his shoe.
I'm wearing Spider-Man shoes.
Like Luke was running down there like, I am Spider-Man.
Can't get my shoe back on.
It's just completely. we'll waste time now while Luke puts his.
While Luke
shoes
sorts
You
out
on.
can
his
fill
shoes.
for me.
Yeah, but it's just I think it's interesting to have something where we obviously know the end game of this plot is
Nice one.
attempt to reverse whatever happened or bring everyone back to life, like
Yeah.
in some other, like either reverse it before it happens or bring as many people back as possible using some other sort of magical science or magic science,
Yes.
as Marvel likes to do. But you don't need to tell us how they do that in a trailer. That's fine. The same as like in a Spider-Man trailer, you can tell us that Vulture's going to be in it. You don't need to tell us how he's going to get there, what's going to happen, all this stuff. We
What's
know
his
that
plan
he's
is,
just going to
yeah.
have a fight with a Vulture. That is fine.
Fine with me,
That's
mate.
enough information for a film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like a friend of mine said that they didn't even need to do any posters or trailers for this film.
No.
They literally could have released a black sheet that had the date on it with the title, and it still would have made $2 billion at the box office.
Absolutely.
Because
Yes,
everyone-
it would.
This was unnecessary.
Yeah.
this was a waste of time.
A waste of money, this. Your marketing budget could have been so much less.
You're saying they need awards? Nah, definitely not. They just wasted all that money. Can't get awards for that.
I just think there's so much like to discuss within this trailer, and there's been a lot of like set photos and stuff that we're not going to talk about on here. At least I don't think we should talk about. 'Cause, like it goes into kind of spoiler territory, and like even like Captain Marvel stuff, which because you've not seen it yet.
I've
like,
not seen it yet.
so we won't go into anything about that. We won't talk anything about that. So I think kind of like if you're on the inside track of like looking at set photos and kind of looking for things, then you kind of know the direction they're going in.
Certainly,
And without sort of giving away any spoilers, because this trailer sort of like sets this up, this film is going to be kind of like a celebration of the films that have come before it. Like, as you say, like using shots from the first Iron Man, the first Captain America, the first Thor movie, like we see him on Asgard with Odin. It's going to be very much, we're going right back to the start here and find out like where these characters came from, what got them to this point, and how they can use that journey and what they've learned in order to finally overcome Thanos and save the day.
Well, because also we don't know. You know, they might go back in the past. The plan that Doctor Strange suggested he'd seen as like the through line that we assume off screen he told Tony Stark what was happening, and that the kind of assumption is that he had to get the click out as kind of part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's the only part of the plan. So you would assume that somewhere in this through line of going back in the past, we don't know if it's go back in the past to the moment he's about to click his fingers and 10 people will just run up and go like, no, no.
Hey, that plan nearly worked.
But
Had it not been for Star-Lord, that plan would have
Yeah,
worked.
but but maybe it's more like that everyone has to go back into their own past and incrementally change something about one decision or something they made along the timeline until that all converges, where things are so subtly different that moment plays out just that tiny bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is where Thor dives in and chops off Thanos' hand instead of,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's layers there. Like that would be a super cool film to see. Like them go back into like, let's send all these characters, and the reason possibly that they're all the original Avengers is we can all send them back to their first film and their first appearance on screen, have them fundamentally change that, and then we just replay the final scene of Infinity War with these minor shifts in it, and see what happens. That is so cool. Like, and also
awesome.
that something like that would be an incredibly brave choice to do as a film. Is be like, it's just a replay film that is, mostly nostalgia, but like, obviously, actually makes perfect sense here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm stoked. Like I don't think
I've ever been so excited for a film. Ever.
And I was this excited for Infinity War. And it's crazy to think of like how Infinity War made even more excited for like I went to the press screening of Infinity War. Me and Ollie went to go see it. And I've never been in a cinema. Sorry, humble brag. Yeah. I'm quite important, don't you know?
Are you big timing us? Come down here on ScreenStalker, big timing us.
But like I've never been in a cinema screen that was like so hushed. Like at the end of it, like when those credits came up, this audible like, that's how we're ending this film with like everything is effed and Thanos is happy. Like Thanos wins.
Yeah,
At the end
Thanos
of that.
wins, that's
at
it.
the end of that, spoilers for Infinity War, but it's back. Yeah,
sorry.
get on it. Like you're watching a trailer for Endgame. Like, tells you
what happened.
Yeah.
But like yes, like Thanos wins, and the whole crowd's like, and I turned to Ollie and I said, "They don't do a post credits. don't even do mid credits. Like, make people wait around for them and then never do them, because then you'll have people going like even more, being like. And I love how we've had these sort of like incremental in the sort of 2 films that we've had, the sort of incremental drops of like what this world is like now. And this trailer does a sort of similar thing with the missing posters.
Yeah,
it's doing an incredible amount of world building. I'm just stoked. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited because I think like having seen Ant-Man and the Wasp and having seen Captain Marvel, my bigger criticisms of it aren't that they're not bad films. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp isn't amazing.
It's fine.
Captain Marvel's very good. It's just very difficult to step back from everyone together doing this huge conflict to what feels like petty squabbles in comparison. Like, you know, when you know this is coming, like, you're like, kind of like, oh, well, I don't really care about what you're up to too much because I just want to know how you factor into this thing. Like, Captain Marvel, I think, is a really, really good film. Does a lot of world building and a lot of interesting setup stuff for the like pre-Marvel universe because it's set in 1995. So there's a lot of like puzzle piece shifting where it's put this thing here, this thing goes there. How did that happen? Oh, that will, you know, all of this stuff all the groundwork is getting laid for these things in that film, which is cool, but also just feels like we're aside the narrative now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This is what I want to see the resolution to, and it would have been more interesting to see her maybe battling back towards Earth to help.
I completely agree with that, because there was a point when like I didn't see Captain Marvel opening night and I didn't go to a press screening, and I'll be honest, like I never felt like, oh man, I didn't get to go see it and I didn't get to go see it opening night, which I usually do for Marvel movies. But the same thing happened with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think that's to your point. What I want to see is I want to see this, like I want to see the follow-on from Infinity War. But there's something magical about Marvel Studios movies that as soon as that bumper comes up for Marvel Studios, instantly I was like, I'm here. I'm
very present.
And I'm present, I'm correct, and I'm lay this on me. I want this all in my eyes right now.
I'm exactly the same as well. And I think every time I try to sit down and like watch like a Marvel movie or something, I'll get my snacks ready and I'll have like this whole routine, and I just won't eat any. I'll just be watching. As soon as the Marvel comes on, I'll be like, I'm here. Hello, I'm watching. Yeah, it's they do have a certain magical aura about them now. It's amazing, and I think this culmination. I think this is going to be as close as we get, possibly, to like storytelling perfection. It will be once we get to the end, and people will be like, "That was an 11-year stretch of films that was incredible." Yeah. Like, obviously, not every film's been knocked out the park, but
Thor: The Dark World,
namely. But I think overall, when people look at the overall product of the MCU and these 3 phases of it, this is going to be as close as people get to storytelling perfection. I think.
There'll be many long runs at the Prince Charles.
Oh,
all these films back to back.
Like long marathons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to see after this as well, like potentially what do we do after Endgame resolves? Like, what does the Marvel universe become? Like, could we do what if style scenarios where we get, I would like to see what happens to not the Avengers per se, but like I would have liked Ant-Man and the Wasp to be set after Thanos, just because. It could be. It's one of those, apart from the fact that it seems to be quantum realm is a big thing here, but like Ant-Man is the exact sort of character, the sort of level of character who could have a story in which most of the people he knows are dead and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, and that would be interesting to have. Same with Captain Marvel. Like, she could be on the other side of the universe and have to get back. Yeah. And there's all these tales to be told with these other characters who aren't present at the moment that Thanos does something. And I would like to see a bit like and hopefully there's plenty of it in this, but like, what's the world like now? What's the galaxy like? What's the universe like now that there's 50% less everything in it?
Doing like the opening 10 minutes of the film could just be like no dialogue and just sort of going around these various places, not just on Earth, but like across the universe, as you say, like places we've been, like let's go and see what this planet looks like now. Let's go see what this planet looks like now. Let's see what New York looks like now. And
sadly with Asgard, there's one.
It's just a rock.
There was one resident now, and it's the fire lad. Exactly. It's a 50-50 toss-up of whether he's there or not, so it could just be empty.
Exactly, yeah. The what if thing is interesting as well, because that's one of the rumored shows for Disney Plus. Is they're going to do like a what if series, which I just think is an incredible idea. Like, I think it's so cool. I mean, you're right as well about like the ideas for Phase 4, because surely you think like not only like as you say this is going to be the big culmination of 11 years, but they're going to have to set something up either it's going to be in the post credits or in the film somewhere along the lines, like sowing some seeds of what we can expect from Phase 4, or are they just going to end this here and then with Phase 4, because they're going to do like a big announcement thing, like Marvel Studios are going to hold like a big press conference thing, like they did for Phase 3.
Yeah, they're just not going to do it after this. They'll just do it after this.
Exactly, they'll do it after this. So yeah, once this film's come out, like a month later, they'll say, "Here is Phase 4." Like, is Phase 4 literally Book 2, Chapter 1? And we're just like, the characters are carrying over, but we're not setting up a new story in this one. We're just letting this film be that culmination to the first 3 phases. And then Phase 4 will be the start of a new era.
I hope so.
Yeah, and then it just really is just starting afresh.
Yeah.
I always hope it's just a complete, like, it's not a gut, but it's just, we wrap all these characters' stories up. We take one of them.
A lot of these are not surviving this film.
We take one of them. We take Spider-Man, who's like one of the younger characters who can hold his own and have films, and then we build things around that one point, but it's all new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a lot. Some of these characters are going to be getting like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. They're going to be like our next generation of characters. But like the original Avengers lineup, I could definitely I'd like to see Tony Stark kind of take on the Nick Fury role of staying within these films.
I think we might get like Captain America more
Rogers.
likely in that, like old Steve Rogers in that role.
Well, it's funny enough. Yeah, my friend and I were talking about this at the weekend. You know, this whole big Steve Rogers, Chris Evans tweeted out saying like, "My contract's up. This is my last movie. This and the other." Red herring. Like, I wonder if that is the big red herring. We all think that it's Cap that's dying in this
Red
movie.
Skull, mate.
Red Skull. And then it's just setting up something else. For me, though, my ideal conclusion for Steve Rogers is him going back to the 40s and having that dance with Peggy Carter that he didn't get in Captain America: The First Avenger, and that's where we leave him.
And learning that tango teaches him to dodge Thanos at the crucial moment.
That's my like perfect conclusion for Steve Rogers' journey.
Amazing.
He's so great.
Yeah.
Should we get some final thoughts on this trailer and who we think is going to die?
Yes.
Oh right, yeah.
Cool. Well, final thoughts. Excitement. I think that's my final thought. In terms of who's going to die, I think most of those original Avengers that survived Infinity War, they're going to be gone. I reckon. So, as much as I'd love to see that Cap ending you just said, I think Cap's going to go, and I think he's going to like sacrifice himself to save someone. He'll like dive in front of something and take one for the team. I think Black Widow is going. I reckon. I know. Yeah.
But she's getting her own movie.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm not up to date with my MCU news, apparently. Black Widow's not dying.
Yeah, unless it's set in the 90s or something like that.
That could be. That could be like a prequel.
When she's a Russian agent, probably.
Which would be interesting.
And then maybe Hulk. I think Hulk's someone who can. His movies haven't been great.
Well, yeah, and
the two that he's had,
and they're films that they can't do because Universal have got like the rights to do solo Hulk movies, so they can't. Apart from put him in other people's films or like Avengers films, they can't do much else with the Hulk.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they might just have.
I mean, they have got the best of both. Yeah. They've got the best sort of circumstance with that, though. He is much better in other people's films.
Very true. Yeah, very true.
Sure. He's not a carry your own film kind of character.
I'm ambivalent on Thor. I really can't decide whether he's going to go or not because I feel like he's run his course and he's had very good character development across the whole thing, and he's unlocked his new powers in Ragnarok and stuff, and he's got a new cool axe thing. Stormbreaker. Yeah. And he might, it might be crucial in killing Thanos in the end if that's how they're going to do it. But I don't think he's going to survive it. I think they might do like a new Thor or something afterwards, or some other, maybe Valkyrie comes back in and becomes a key player, something like that.
I'd love to see Valkyrie show up in this film.
That'd be great.
Badass.
I missed her in Infinity War.
I think there's potential that they all die. I think it's probably I think part of the sort of the finale of Infinity War was people weren't trying to save each other and working together and covering each other's backs to get to this point where they're going to face off against Thanos. So maybe the point is that it's all discovering that your fate's already kind of sealed and you have to give up this to save this much wider thing. Because not like a lot of Marvel films obviously end with the idea that someone might sacrifice themselves to save everyone, like Tony Stark flying through the wormhole in Avengers 1. Same thing in Avengers 2 with the pile driver thing through the middle of Sokovia. Like, there's just the potential that I think these guys are all going to have to go, oh, okay, it's my time now. but for the purposes of bringing back everyone else. Like,
Yeah, I could certainly see them because they've almost been setting Iron Man up for that sacrifice moment, like like all the nightmare sequences that he's had, like everything that they've been doing with. That's why I think he's the most interesting character in the MCU. Like everything he's been doing with each film is to try and save everyone because he had that nightmare, and like he's been through the Looking Glass. And it'd be kind of like almost poetic justice that he tries to do the sacrifice spot, but it's Cap that ends up doing it, and then Tony Stark's got to live with that for the rest of his life, and then perhaps that's where he then takes on that Nick Fury-esque role, of being this the new leader of Shield. Which I think would be really interesting. Well, whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. is now.
Yeah.
Maybe he restarts S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe this will be the dawn of it, and he'll start the new version of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, I love the trailer. I thought it's awesome. So cool.
it's fantastic.
Cannot wait for the film out end of next month, April 26th, which is...
April 26th.
Considering now we're in the middle of March, and it feels like Christmas was last week. Like it is.
It's going to be Captain Marvel came out last week.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's going to feel very, very...
By the way, more Marvel!
Have some more.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yes, no. Give me more.
So
Can you make films quicker, please?
Can I expect us in about a month and a half all to be sitting here just going after watching it? So this will be good.
I'm super excited.
Me too.
Pumped.
Well, that is all we have time for in discussing the Avengers Endgame trailer. Please click the videos that have appeared on the desk to watch more awesome ScreenStalker content. I've been Laurie Blake. This has been Pete Quinnell. That has been Luke Owen. And remember, we're watching.